Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. We're heading to the SEC. We've got Auburn at Texas A&M. I don't know. I got an idea there's going to be some points scored in this one. We got Texas A&M. Offensively, they're a machine. Defensively, they're a broken machine. I mean, they haven't stopped anybody. And it's a situation that, when you're laying points with them, which because they're Johnny Football, you got Johnny Manziel, you're going to be laying a tariff with them every time that they take the field. You got to hold your breath that can they score enough points not to blow the backdoor cover. And I don't know which way you're heading, Brian, in this one, but that's where you got to start and look at this game.
Or the backdoor over in case of the Mississippi game last week.
Absolutely. What are you looking at here, Brian?
Yeah, we saw the same thing last week with the Mississippi. I had Mississippi. I was happy about it. I never thought I was out of the game because they just can't stop anybody. Right. And the sad part is when you're playing against Texas A&M, you have a pretty good idea they're going to score every time they get the football. And they have. I mean, he's done a great job there. But, you stole my word, tariff. I never get to use the word tariff. He steals tariff from me. I have it right here in my notes. Yeah, you do. You always have. Anytime you play a nationally known team with a star quarterback, Denver Broncos, that kind of thing, you're always going to pay more points than what the power ratings say you're going to have. And that's what I have here is I'm going to take the points with Auburn. We just talked about the West Virginia, the situation with Baylor. Last year, Texas A&M scores 63-21 win, puts up 671 yards on this Auburn team, the most yards that Auburn's ever allowed in their school history. Now, that is amazing.
That is amazing.
Now, they're playing the SEC, which we normally think is a very good defensive conference. Not this year. But, Gus Malzahn's come in this year. I think they were 3-9 last year. Comes in. They're playing a lot better ball than at least I thought they'd be. I thought they weren't going to be this good this early. Now, granted, they haven't played the greatest opposition yet, but take a look at, their defense. They've given up 5.8 yards per play, which is slightly over what the FBS average is, but they played Washington State, Arizona State, LSU, Mississippi. These are teams that can put points on the board. So they're well accustomed to playing good offensive teams, just maybe not quite as good as Texas A&M, but they've hung in there every game. And they just came off of a game against Western Carolina, crushed them. Next week they got Florida Atlantic. They've had this game circled. This is a great spot right here for Auburn. I actually haven't bet this one yet because I think once the public gets involved, similar to the Louisville game we discussed earlier, I think we're going to see that 14, and I'm going to take the points here with Auburn.
Do you think at some point, though, the public, they can only go to the window so many times with a certain team and not be able to walk back and cash that ticket? Because if you've been betting Texas A&M, because we've said, here's a team that's winning, they only have one loss straight up, but they're 2-4 against the spread. They're not winning the tickets. And one of the tickets that they cashed was a very good one for the sports books here in Nevada.
I don't want to talk about that one.
Okay, when they got the back door against Alabama. So here's a team that, can you trust, or is the public at any point going to give up on them? You can't keep riding the same team.
Well, they've done well enough against the spread where they're not going to give up on them, and they've won so much money for their backers last year. I mean, I was just up in Lake Tahoe this last week, and I was watching the game in the sportsbook at Harris, and there was guys there, this is the greatest quarterback ever. I love that. And they're going to score a lot of points. They're high-fiving, they're drinking their beers. Those guys with their $20 parlay cards is going to bet enough to raise this line and make it worthwhile for me.
There you go.
What do you think, Ken? Anything you want to add before we get to the big guy making it official?
Let's have him make his first one official with the A-team.
All right, there we go. Mr. Bryan Leonard.
All right, we're going to take the points here with the Auburn Tigers, an improved team that hasn't been on national TV or anything lately. In fact, this entire season, I haven't seen them much on national TV, so they're an under-the-radar team. Texas A&M, always on TV. And to be honest with you, they're a lot of fun to watch. Going to get a lot of points. Both teams are going to get a lot of points. I don't like to lay points with teams that don't play defense, and this Texas A&M team does not play defense. They do not stop the run, which is what Auburn does pretty well. And with Auburn being able to run the football, takes time off the clock, keeps the ball out of Johnny Football's hands. I like the points here. I'm going to take Auburn Tigers. It's a big revenge game for them against Texas A&M and Johnny Football.
All right, no pressure on you about having to perform or we send you back to the B squad. So
don't do that to me.
I will tell you as a Pittsburgh Steeler guy that you want to keep tabs on couple of those boys named Matthews on the front line. They're protecting Johnny Manziel. Bruce Matthews kids.
There you go.
Well, you also want to keep track of them too, because in case in the next couple of years they make it the #1 draft choice.
Whoa, that was
good stuff from a Cleveland Browns guy.
Cleveland. Guy.
One time in my life, I could say the Browns have a better record than the
Better
Steelers.
record than the Steelers. There you go.
All right, Barry, move this guy back to Tuesday, okay? That's it for this video. We're coming back next. We're going to go BYU at Houston, the undefeated Houston Cougars up next. Pregame.tv.